All right, for my hand sewers, my remote only learners who are doing this by hand, you are going to thread your needle. You're going to cut about a wingspan of thread. You're going to place it through the eye of the needle or the hole at the top, and you're going to double up your thread so that it's two layers of thread. You're then going to knot those two layers together by pinching, wrapping it around your finger one time, and then rolling it off your finger and pulling. Just a little knot. You can also do the traditional, loop and pull through method, whichever you're more comfortable with. So you have your pieces cut out and you have them pinned just like before. And you should have them pinned right sides together. So good sides to touching. You're going to start at the top of your work, coming from behind. Oh, wait, I forgot one step for you. Sorry. Before we get started with the thread, so our needle and thread is knotted, you're going to take a ruler and you are going to, and a pencil, and you are going to make a mark 1/4 of an inch in. So you have 1 inch is here, 1/2 inch, 1/4 inch, okay? So 1 inch, 1/2 inch, 1/4 inch. And so we're going to be following this guide here. And I am just going to go around measuring in 1/4 of an inch and making a mark. Okay, so my piece now looks something like this. And then I'm going to take my pencil and I'm going to fill in maybe some of the holes, just so I have more of a straighter line. A little easier to see. Okay, now that's my guideline for sewing. Okay, now I'm going to take my thread with its knot in the bottom, and I'm going to start by coming from behind and poking through. So from behind and poke through to be on my line. I'm going to pull my work so that knot is on the back side right now. Then I'm going to in and out, just like camp sewing, really simple, back and forth, and pull. And make sure you don't have any puckers. You can pull out the pins as you go. You want your stitches to be roughly 1/4 of an inch apart. And you can do about 4 stitches at a time, and then pull your thread, and then make sure every time that you lay it back flat. So I'm just working my way down the piece, making sure to pull as I go, making sure I don't have like loops that get hung up. You want it to be nice and smooth and flat. And I'm just following along that 1/4 inch line. Okay. When I get to the end, I've gone all the way down. I'm going to flip my work over, and you will see that there are spaces between. So to make it a stronger hold and to not have those holes in our work, you're going to come back the way you came, filling in the gaps. So I like to do this on the side I didn't do the pencil on because As you can see, some of the pen marks make it look like I did so there when I really didn't. So I like to use the side where I can really see the clear marks, or see the clear openings. And I'm just going to do the same thing, only this time I'm going over the stitches that I did not make before. So it's like opposite. And take your time with this. They don't need to be perfectly even, but you want to be as close as you can, because the closer you are, the better your mask will hold up. Okay, when you get to the end, you're going to see your knot, all right? And you are going to put your needle, through your work to the opposite side. And then I'm going to flip it over. When I flip it over, when I flip it over, I'm going to then slip my needle underneath the stitches. So you can see how it's under the stitches, but not through the fabric. Under the stitches. And then I'm going to pass the needle through the loop that's there. I'll show you one more time. Make sure this is really focused. I'm going to pass my needle under the stitch, not through the fabric, just under the stitch. When I start to pull the thread, you'll see that where the thread was and where it's going create like a loop. You are then going to put the needle through that loop, and that creates that little crossover knot. You're going to want to do this 3 or 4 times to make a very secure stitch. Okay, make sure there are no puckers, that your piece lays perfectly flat, no puckers. And then you are going to trim your excess, but I want you to leave about a 2-inch tail, because we're going to kind of stitch that in later. And that is how you sew the 2 halves of the mask. So you're going to do this for both your white or your liner and your outside fabric. Please message if you have any questions.